Careful now. That feeling crawling up your spine, that's not fear, that's recognition. Because you knew. You saw it before anyone else, didn't you? And while they stumbled around with their soft little certainties and their pretty little assumptions, you were standing there, quiet, still, watching the entire future unfold like a crime scene you designed, frame by frame. You didn't predict the trap. You built it. And they still walked right in, smiling, trusting, unaware they were already dead. Tell me, do you understand how terrifying that makes you? They don't, but I do. Let me paint it for you slowly, so even your shadow feels the weight of it. You moved like a paradox wearing human skin. You looked harmless, calm, maybe even bored. But behind your eyes, there was a war room, a cathedral of predictions, a labyrinth of outcomes collapsing into your hands like obedient little ghosts. They thought you were quiet because you were confused. You were quiet because you were calculating. They thought you hesitated because you lacked confidence. You hesitated because you knew the exact second their downfall would bloom. And the best part? You didn't push them, you didn't manipulate them, you didn't even whisper. You simply let their nature walk them into the trap you designed. That's the elegance of your darkness. You never force disaster. You simply predict it. And wait. Imagine the moment they realized, the breath freezing, the eyes widening, the soul trying to reverse time, that tiny spark of, oh God, they knew. They knew. It hits like a bullet to the ego. Because nothing hurts the fragile more than discovering they were outplayed by someone who wasn't even playing. You weren't competing. You weren't proving anything. You weren't in the race. You were the architect of the map they followed. And while they sprinted into their own undoing, you stood there, hands in your pockets, watching the prophecy you didn't even bother to share unfold with surgical precision. That's why they fear you. Not because you're loud, not because you're violent, not because you're deranged, but because you're right, over and over, quietly, effortlessly, mercilessly. The world doesn't know what to do with a person who sees through the fog like it's glass. Let me tell you something they'll never admit. People aren't afraid of the dark. They're afraid of the person who walks comfortably in it. And that's you. You move through shadows like they belong to you. You understand silence like it's a second language. You feel patterns long before they reveal themselves. You're not intuitive. You're not lucky. You're not gifted. No, you are evolved. A creature that lives 3 seconds ahead of everyone else and watches reality scramble to keep up. A saint with a demon's eyesight. A demon with a saint's restraint. A contradiction they can't quantify, classify, or predict. That's why they get angry. That's why they panic. That's why they blame you for outcomes you merely foresaw. It's easier to call you manipulative than admit they were predictable. But you know the hidden truth, the one that makes you smile in that quiet, dangerous way. Most people don't fall into traps. They jump, eagerly, confidently, proudly, because their ego whispers, this path is safe, you're too smart to be caught. And you let them believe it, not out of cruelty, not out of revenge, but out of clarity. When someone's arrogance is begging to be detonated, all you do is provide the match. And now, their entire world smells like smoke. They'll replay it 1,000 times, you know. They'll search for signs they missed. They'll analyze your tone, your pauses, your silence. They'll come to the same terrifying conclusion. You knew. You always knew. And you let them choose their own destruction. That is what separates you from them. You don't control people. You simply understand them faster than they understand themselves. You are the mirror they refuse to look into. The prophecy they pretend isn't written. The consequence dressed in calmness. They think you smile because you're cruel. But you smile because the truth finally revealed itself, and you didn't have to lift a finger. So tell me, now that the dust has settled, now that the trap has closed, now that their fear has ripened into awe and confusion, do you feel it? That cold, electric hum in your chest, that violent stillness, that silent storm, that's evolution whispering through your bones. That's power without theatrics, violence without movement, dominance without raising your voice. That's what happens when you see what others refuse to see, move how others feared to move, and watch the world collapse into the very patterns you predicted long before they took shape. They marched into the trap. You walked away from it. And there's a difference, a cosmic, irreversible difference, between those who follow the path and the one who designs it. Now breathe, because they're only just beginning to understand what you really are. You feel that shift in the air, don't you? The way the atmosphere bends around you now. The way their voices get softer when you walk in. The way their eyes flicker with that subconscious tremor that only appears when a predator strolls past prey, pretending not to flinch. They don't know how to categorize you anymore. Are you a visionary? Are you a villain? Are you a saint wrapped in barbed wire? Are you a demon wearing mercy like perfume? They keep trying to put you in a box, but every time they do, you step out of it, kick it over, and turn it into a throne. Let's walk further into this little revelation of yours. Because the real terror wasn't the trap you built. No, the real terror was that you didn't announce it. You didn't warn them. You didn't drop hints. You didn't gloat. You simply existed, and your existence alone rearranged the entire battlefield. That's the thing about people like you. You don't have to pull strings. Your presence is the string. Your silence is a jeeps. Your intuition is a sniper rifle. Your patience, a guillotine wrapped in velvet. You didn't push them into the trap. You watched them swan dive into it with a smirk like they were on a runway. And here's the part that keeps them awake at night. They trusted you. They trusted your calmness. They trusted your stillness. They trusted your lack of reaction. But they never realized that your lack of reaction is the reaction. That the quietest people in the room are the ones conducting the loudest futures. It's funny, isn't it? People scream about red flags, warning signs, shadows in the corner, and yet they ignore the only one that truly matters, your silence. Because your silence isn't empty, it's loaded, it's precise, it's predictive. When you went still, they should have run. When you went calm, they should have questioned reality. When you went quiet, they should have checked the ground beneath their feet. Instead, they walked toward you like pilgrims seeking a blessing, and all they found waiting was the truth. A truth they weren't built to handle. A truth that tasted like revelation dipped in poison. A truth that said, you were never the center of the story. You were merely the plot twist. But you, oh no, you were the writer the entire time. And now they're replaying every conversation you ever had with them, every smile, every shrug, every, okay, every, we'll see. They don't remember your sentences. They remember the subtext. They don't remember your tone. They remember how the temperature in the room changed when you spoke. People like you don't talk in words. You talk in premonitions. You don't communicate with your mouth. You communicate with patterns. You don't predict. You calculate. You don't hope. You observe. And while they rushed to feel important, you sat back and watched their self-importance lay the blueprint for their downfall. You know the cruel irony in all this. They thought they were studying you. They thought they were analyzing you. They thought they were reading you like some predictable little script. But you were 6 pages ahead, then 10, then 50, until eventually. You weren't even in the same book, because you don't live in their world. You live in the negative space between their assumptions. You live in the cracks of their overconfidence. You live in the blind spots of their arrogance. You live in the echoes of the things they didn't say but felt anyway. That's why they crumble around you. That's why they malfunction. That's why they blame you for consequences they built with their own hands. It's easier to accuse the seer than accept the shame of being seen. Walk with me deeper into the part of the truth no one dares speak aloud. You don't just see the trap. You see the trap inside the trap. The flaw inside the pattern. The lie inside the truth inside the lie. You see the version of them they hide from themselves. You see the version of you they fear the most. You see the dominoes falling before a single one is touched. That is not intuition. That is not empathy. That is not sensitivity. That is sight. A darker, sharper, ancient sight. The kind only a few people in this world ever evolve into. The kind that comes from suffering, breaking, rebuilding, learning, burning, surviving, and then returning with new sensors humans aren't supposed to have. You're not gifted, you're forged, and forged things don't shatter. They shatter others. And now they're scared to breathe near you. Not because you hurt them, but because you didn't have to. Not because you exposed their weakness, but because you'd already seen it. Not because you predicted their fall, but because you let them choose it. They can't comprehend that level of seeing, that level of patience, that level of psychological gravity. Your gravity, yes, but not the kind that pulls people down, the kind that bends their reality around you. You are the curve in their logic, the glitch in their certainty. The moment their ego goes silent and whispers, what are they really capable of? And that question? Oh, that question is the trap that keeps resetting. Because the more they try to figure you out, the deeper they walk into the design you never explained. The blueprint they'll never decode. The map they'll never see. The future they'll never outrun. So stand there, breathe. Let the truth settle beneath your skin. You saw it before anyone. You built the trap without lifting a weapon. You watched them step into their own fate with a confident smile. And now, the world finally sees what you always were. Not the player, not the pawn, not the victim, not the villain, but the engineer of consequences, the quiet architect of inevitability, the shadow that studies the storm before it takes shape. You don't react to life. Life reacts to you. And they're only just beginning to understand that. Look at you, still standing there with that stillness that isn't still at all. That quiet, coiled something that makes every room hesitate before it remembers how to breathe again. You think they don't feel it? You think they don't sense the shift you carry like a second spine? Let me peel back the next layer for you, slowly, so you can hear the echo of who you've become. When you saw the trap forming, you didn't panic. You didn't warn them. You didn't scream like the rest of the world does when it feels a tremor under its feet. You simply tilted your head, watched the pattern unfold, and whispered internally, "Ah, there it is." Because you've lived long enough, bled long enough, lost enough, evolved enough to recognize that some disasters aren't accidents. They're invitations, not for destruction, for clarity. You weren't predicting the future. You were recognizing the inevitable. That's something they'll never understand. Your mind doesn't guess. It remembers ahead of time, like the universe left a back door unlocked just for you. And while they were scrambling, gossiping, laughing, preening, dismissing. You were standing precisely where the outcome would land. A statue carved from foresight, a saint carved from spite, a demon carved from mercy. The paradox collapses into you like a star collapsing inward. Unpredictable, uncontainable, undeniable. Your mind wasn't on the present. It was already at the ending. And that's the curse of people like you, isn't it? You see how everything ends before people finish pretending they're in control. But let me drag you into the real horror. They would have forgiven you if you manipulated them. They would have excused you if you lied to them. They would have understood if you cheated, schemed, plotted, or puppeteered. Those are human sins, common sins, predictable sins. But your sin? Oh, your sin was worse. You let them be themselves. You let their ego guide them. You let their pride blind them. You let their assumptions escort them directly into the jaws of the outcome. You didn't need a mask, or a plan, or a scheme. You only needed patience. Patience is the sharpest weapon on earth. And yours, sharpened through years of watching the world pretend it's smarter than it is. So you stepped aside, gently, quietly, and let reality do the violence for you. And now look at them, their pride shattered, their confidence derailed, their certainty dissolved. Because there is nothing more humiliating than realizing the person they underestimated could see the entire floor plan of their downfall and didn't warn them. It wasn't malice, it wasn't revenge, it was revelation. They were so sure they had the upper hand, so sure they understood the room, so sure they were the clever ones, until the trap snapped shut and the silence they mocked became the silence that judged them. You know what really breaks them? Not the fall, not the outcome. It's the moment what happened turns into how long did they know? And deeper still, why didn't they stop me? That's when panic becomes paranoia, when apology becomes obsession, when insecurity becomes worship. Because now they're not just scared of what you saw, they're terrified of what you see next. You walk differently now, not because you gained power, but because you finally stopped apologizing for having it. Your intuition isn't weird. Your perception isn't too much. Your foresight isn't coincidence. They are weapons. Weapons sharpened by heartbreak, betrayal, pattern reading, and the kind of loneliness only old souls survive. You didn't evolve by choice. You evolved by necessity. You learned to see the storm because you were the storm's target for too many years. You learned to sense the trap because you spent entire eras trapped by people who smiled while they built the cage. You learned to predict behavior because you had no luxury of trusting it. And now you walk through environments like a ghost with night vision goggles, seeing every intention, every fracture, every lie forming before the liar even inhales to speak it. They'll call you cold, distant, detached, dark. Let them. Because darkness isn't evil. Darkness is information without illusions. Darkness is what remains when naivety dies. Darkness is where the truth hides from the faint-hearted. You didn't become dark. You became accurate, and accuracy terrifies the ones who survive off delusion. Do you want to know the final reason they fear you now? Because people who see traps can build futures. People who predict betrayal can predict opportunity. People who understand human nature can orchestrate destinies. You are not dangerous because you want to be. You are dangerous because you know. And knowledge, real knowledge, is the closest thing to power this world has ever feared. They marched into the trap. You walked past it, and the world is rearranging itself around the implications of that single devastating fact. All right then, let's take you to the final layer. The one even you don't like to look at for too long. Because deep down, beneath the foresight, the silence, the patience, the cold wisdom, there's something else. A truth so sharp it never stops humming under your skin. You didn't build the trap to destroy them. No, you built it to confirm what you already knew. To verify the instinct you kept doubting. To prove, once and for all, that your intuition isn't paranoia. It's prophecy. And when they walked into it, smiling, when they followed the script you predicted line by line, that was the moment everything snapped into focus. Not about them, about you. Because the trap wasn't a test they failed. It was a mirror you passed. It showed you exactly what you are. A creature who sees beneath the mask. A mind that reads the soul before the person speaks. A presence that bends outcomes by simply existing. You're not ahead of people by accident. You're ahead because you've lived through the kind of pain that forces evolution. Your sight was born in places they will never survive long enough to reach. That's why they walk into traps, and you walk out of them. That's why they cling to illusions, and you dismantle them. That's why they fear the dark, and you use it like a tool. You've become the thing people whisper about without having enough language to name. Not a villain, not a saint, not a monster, not a savior. Something stranger, something rarer, something the world has no definition for. A mind that sees truth at the speed of instinct. A soul sharpened by collisions. A fate that refuses to be small. And now you leave them where they put themselves. In the outcome they insisted on choosing, not out of cruelty, but because your role was never to save them. Your role was to see them, to witness their patterns, to learn from their chaos, to understand your own evolution through their collapse. And now that you've seen it, now that the trap has closed, now that the truth revealed itself without you ever having to push, you can finally step forward, quiet, focused, unapologetically aware. Because the story isn't about who fell, it's about who walked away untouched. And that, my friend, is you. The one who saw it first. The one who said nothing. The one who watched destiny fold itself into your hands. The one who kept walking while the world learned the lesson. The trap is behind you. The future is in front of you. And everyone else? They're only just beginning to realize you were never playing the same game. You were building it. Listen closely. Something in the air just shifted the moment you walked in. You feel that, don't you? That eerie electric tension, like the room suddenly remembered what you survived and what's still standing behind you. Good. Because tonight, you're going to understand something they never wanted you to realize. Something ancient, something terrifying, something true. Let's begin. You ever wonder why they came for you so aggressively? Why the watchers, the whisperers, the fake believers, the smiling assassins, moved in sync, like they were following some cosmic choreography? It's because they knew. Deep down, in the part of their soul they never admit exists. They knew you weren't moving alone. See, the universe may play games, but it doesn't play fair. And for someone like you, someone who didn't bend when the world tried to break your spine, the rules were different from the start. They came for you with confidence. They approached you thinking you were by yourself, a lone target, a vulnerable figure standing on the edge of the map. But here's where they miscalculated. Your backup isn't human, not physical, not visible, not measurable by their tiny little instruments of fear. Your backup is the kind of force that makes grown adults wake up shaking. unsure why they dreamed of you standing in fire without burning. Your backup is the kind of presence that doesn't need to be seen, to be felt. It's funny, isn't it? They thought you were unarmed while the universe was quietly arming every cell in your body. They thought you were walking alone while entire dimensions shifted their weight to guard your next breath. They thought you were fragile. Meanwhile, the cosmos was rearranging the chessboard behind you. They never saw the shadows that followed you. Not the dark ones, the protective ones. The ones that tilt reality slightly in your favor. The ones that pull you out of disasters you didn't even know were planned. They never saw the miracle they were stepping into when they tried to corner you. They only saw you, shaking, bleeding, exhausted. And they mistook that as weakness. Oh, what a mistake. Pain never meant you were done. Pain meant something else entirely. Activation. You think God didn't know they'd target the child who sees too much. You think God didn't anticipate the way jealousy would infect them like mold in wet walls. You think God didn't know your light would make people twitch. God knew exactly who they were, long before they learned your name. That's why your protection doesn't walk on two legs. That's why your protection doesn't communicate in words. That's why your protection doesn't flinch at threats. Your protection is older than their hatred, older than their schemes, older than their desperation to dismantle whatever they don't understand. Your backup doesn't need a body. Your backup doesn't need a face. Your backup is the invisible calculation in every scenario that twists outcomes in your favor. Your backup is the intuition that warns you half a second before someone betrays you. Your backup is the invisible hand that pulls you away from the wrong room at the right time. Your backup is the force that no enemy of yours, no matter how loud or united, can out-strategize. They still don't get it. They still think the universe is linear, predictable, rule-bound. But you were built in paradox, light and dark, saint and psychopath, angel and demon, human and weapon, chaos and prophecy. You are the walking contradiction they can't decode. And your backup? That's the sweetest part. Your backup is the one thing they can't access, can't imitate, can't poison, can't manipulate, can't sabotage. Because it doesn't sit in the physical world. It sits behind you. Just out of sight, like a shadow made of certainty, not fear. It moves when you move. It stops when you stop. It breathes when you forget how. It pushes when you collapse. It's why you keep getting up. It's why they keep failing. It's why every trap turns into a revelation. It's why every betrayal becomes another layer of armor. You ever wonder why their plans always crumble right at the finish line? Why the ones who tried to bury you ended up 6 feet deep in their own embarrassment? Why the lies built against your name eventually collapse under their own weight? Because the universe has a habit of protecting the ones who were never meant to be understood, only revealed. And you were never meant to be understood. Your existence is a glitch in their logic, a rupture in their expectations, a divine threat wrapped in mortal skin. So let them talk, let them plot, let them gather around their dim little fires and whisper about you. They think they're hunting a person, but they're provoking a force. Because God knew they'd come for you. And God made sure your backup wasn't something the human eye could trace. You aren't walking with soldiers. You're walking with purpose, with protection, with prophecy, with entities that don't negotiate with fear. And the moment they realize it, the moment it clicks, the moment they see what's been following you, oh, sweetheart, the room won't go silent. The room will kneel. Now breathe. Stand how you were always meant to stand. And let them feel the presence behind you. Look at you. You're still here, still breathing, still carrying that eerie, unshakable calm that makes people second-guess their own survival instincts. Do you know how rare that is? Most people crumble when they're targeted. Most people start folding their choices into little shapes that please the crowd. Most people bow to fear because they've never learned how to stand next to it. But you walk with fear the way most people walk with old friends. And that's where things get interesting. Because when someone like you refuses to collapse, when you don't break, don't beg, don't run, something ancient wakes up behind you. Something that's been waiting. And that's the part they never understood. Your backup wasn't sent to you. It was summoned by who you became. You didn't earn protection by being perfect. You earned it by surviving what should have erased you. You think invisible forces stand behind the lucky, the privileged, the ones who float through life untouched. No invisible forces stand behind the ones who touched darkness with their bare hands and still walked forward. The ones who prayed with cracked voices, the ones who smiled through betrayal, the ones who kept moving while everyone else hoped they'd collapse. Every scar on you is a password. Every wound you stitched closed by yourself is a key. Every time you walked into a room and felt something watching you, something weighing you, something choosing you, that was the universe deciding, this one is not dying on my watch. And that is why your backup isn't human. Human beings get tired. Invisible forces do not. Humans get jealous. Invisible forces do not. Humans betray you the moment it benefits them. Invisible forces tear through dimensions to defend you. You are protected by something that doesn't need sleep. Something that doesn't require proof. Something that doesn't panic when you're targeted. It activates. And, did it activate? Remember those nights you felt watched, not by enemies, but by that strange calm? That whisper in your chest that said, you're fine. Remember when the betrayal hit you so hard your breath cracked, but you didn't fall? Remember when someone tried to ruin you and ended up ruining themselves in ways you couldn't have planned if you tried? That wasn't coincidence. That wasn't luck. That wasn't karma. That was your invisible force, repositioning the battlefield. You see, people talk about God like he's distant, old, soft, far away. But God is not far. God has a nasty habit of stepping closer the moment someone tries to break you. And God knew, long before you knew, that they would try. He saw their envy before they felt it. He saw their betrayal before they plotted it. He saw their masks before they put them on. So he didn't put people around you. People are fragile. People are unpredictable. People bend. He put forces around you. Forces that don't flinch when someone slanders your name. Forces that see the traps before you do. Forces that rearrange reality when someone tries to corner you. That's why you always survive in ways that look impossible. That's why you walk away from things that should have destroyed you. That's why they sit around confused, whispering, how did they know? How did they survive? How did they see that coming? Who's helping them? Nobody. And that's what scares them the most. Because when your backup is supernatural, when your protection is invisible, every attempt on your life becomes a mirror that reflects their weakness back at them. They thought you were a target, but every time they took a shot, the universe rotated the world half a degree, and they became the casualty. They still don't understand that you're not walking with angels or demons. You're walking with something older, darker, more purposeful. You are accompanied by the consequences of every time you refused to give up, every time you chose truth over convenience, every time you said no when they expected you to break. Your invisible backup is built from the exact moments they underestimated you. And the fun part? They can't fight what they can't see. They can't bribe it. They can't threaten it. They can't outrun it. They can't outsmart it. They can't even name it. All they know is this: every time they try to hurt you, something hits them harder. Every time they try to expose you, something exposes them worse. Every time they try to bury you, something pulls you back up with more clarity, more power, more edge than you had before. And you wonder why they fear you. You're a walking contradiction with a shadow that doesn't obey physics. You're guarded by something that rewrites the script whenever someone thinks they've figured you out. You're protected by an intelligence that doesn't need your permission to intervene. So keep walking, keep breathing, keep being exactly who you are. Because the next time they try to corner you, and they will, the universe won't warn them, won't negotiate, won't whisper. It'll remind them, God knew you'd come for this one. That's why I sent a force you can't see. And when they finally realize what's been backing you this whole time, they won't attack. They'll retreat. They'll scatter. They'll shiver. Because nothing terrifies a predator more than realizing the prey was never prey at all. You feel that pressure behind your ribs right now? That slow rising warmth that isn't fear, but awareness? Good. Because you're finally starting to understand what they never could. You were never meant to walk this world with normal protection. Normal protection wouldn't have survived your story. Normal protection would have folded at your first heartbreak, your first betrayal, your first ambush in the dark. But you walked through hell like it was a hallway. You stood in storms that would have bent most people backwards. You carried truths that would have broken softer souls into dust. You weren't built like them, so your backup was never going to be built like theirs. Let me tell you a secret, a dangerous one. Everything you survived became your army. Your childhood wounds, soldiers, your heartbreaks, sentinels, your trauma, commanders, your loneliness, a general with no mercy. Pain didn't just shape you. It armored you. It matured you. It summoned something non-human to stand behind you. And they hate that. They hate that every time they hit you, something invisible catches the blow. They hate that every time they set a trap, something unseen disarms it. They hate that every time they whisper your name, the universe leans forward like, try it. See what happens. You unnerve them because you shouldn't be standing right now. But you're not just standing, you're evolving. And evolution terrifies the unevolved. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine someone walks into a room thinking you're alone, cornered, defenseless. Imagine they smirk because they think they understand your entire blueprint. Imagine they step close enough to touch your shadow. And then that shadow moves. Not because you moved, not because the light flickered, but because something behind you, something ancient, stepped forward. Do you know how fast bravado turns into paralysis? Do you know how quickly arrogance melts when someone realizes they weren't attacking a person? They were provoking a force? That moment, that panic, that frozen expression full of, oh, what is that? You've seen that. You've felt that shift in the air. You've watched people recoil from you like they touched a live wire they didn't know you were carrying. They weren't reacting to you. They were reacting to what follows you, to what watches you, to what shields you, to what claims you. And that's why people who betray you fall apart afterward. Not because you curse them, not because you seek revenge, but because touching someone with divine backup has consequences. They weren't prepared for the bill. They thought you were human. They didn't know you were chosen and chosen people. Oh, chosen people walk with something that is not negotiable. Chosen people walk into rooms and the energy rearranges itself like soldiers straightening their posture. Chosen people disturb demons without lifting a finger. Chosen people walk past people and their guilt starts screaming for no reason. Chosen people don't need to clap back. Their silence ruins reputations. Chosen people don't need to defend themselves. The truth hunts their enemies down like bloodhounds. You've been confused for a long time, wondering why people behave so strangely around you. Why some flinch when you say nothing, why some avoid your eyes, why some attempt to destroy you without cause, almost as if something inside them panicked when you got close. That wasn't you. That was the force behind you pressing on the weak spots inside them. Light makes the roaches scatter. Truth makes the liars choke. Strength makes the insecure tremble. And you carry all three. So of course they came for you. Of course they circled you. Of course they tried to drag your name into pits they dig for themselves. But every attack they made only awakened the thing protecting you. Every lie sharpened the blade behind your shoulder. Every betrayal fed the fire that now stands taller than any enemy you've ever faced. Do you understand what that means? You're unstoppable not because you're perfect, but because you're guarded. God didn't give you visible allies because visible allies can be bribed. God didn't give you human support because humans get tired. God didn't give you physical protection because physical protection can be outnumbered. God gave you the one thing enemy hands can't touch. Invisible, unbreakable, undeniable backup. Backup that can't be reasoned with. Backup that doesn't hesitate. Backup that reacts before you do. Backup that stands with you even when you fall to your knees. And that's why they fear you. Because they can't calculate the threat behind you. They can't track it. They can't outsmart it. They can't even name it. All they know is this. Every time they try to take you down, something smashes their plans into dust. Every time they speak against you, something returns the echo tenfold. Every time they try to strip you of power, something hands you more. And they're running out of explanations. Because how do you fight someone backed by forces that don't bleed? How do you defeat someone protected by something you can't even perceive? How do you destroy someone whose destiny isn't on this timeline to begin with? You can't. They can't. And that's the truth they choke on. So walk forward, slowly, calmly, confidently. Let them wonder. Let them tremble. Let them whisper. Because the more they look, the more they'll realize you were never alone. You were never unprotected. You were never vulnerable. You were backed by a presence that doesn't miss, doesn't weaken, doesn't forget, and does not lose. Now keep going. Let them feel what walks behind you. Go on. Take one more breath. Feel that weight behind you. Not heavy like burden, heavy like authority. Like something ancient just straightened its spine because you're about to move. That's the part they never understood about you. You don't walk into rooms. You step into alignment. You don't face enemies. You face confirmations. You don't survive attacks. You expose intentions. Every threat you met revealed someone's truth. Every betrayal you endured revealed someone's fear. Every rumor they whispered revealed someone's guilt. And every time they tried to break you, the universe leaned down and whispered, "Not this one." Because God knew they'd come for you, long before they knew your name. He saw the trajectory of their jealousy. He saw the weakness in their intentions. He saw the exact moment their hearts would twist against you. So he built your protection out of something they would never detect. He hid your backup in your intuition, in your timing, in your near misses, in your escapes, in your survival, in your resurrection. He coded it into your silence. He anchored it in your patience. He armed it with your scars. And by the time they realized you weren't alone, it was far too late. Because how do you fight someone guarded by a force that moves before the attack even begins? How do you harm someone who's protected by every dimension their eyes can't see? How do you corner someone whose destiny refuses to fit inside human traps? You can't. They can't. And they're starting to understand that. That's why their rage feels panicked. That's why their envy feels frantic. That's why their plans feel rushed and sloppy and doomed the moment they begin. They're not strategizing anymore. They're scrambling, trying to figure out why your downfall never arrives, trying to decipher why their lies boomerang back harder, trying to understand why you still rise after each hit, stronger and less reachable. Here's the answer they'll never accept. You were backed before they even existed. You were chosen before you knew the word for purpose. You were protected before you understood the meaning of enemy. You were watched over before you learned how dangerous your light was to the insecure. And your invisible guard, it's not going anywhere. Not when you're tired, not when you're alone, not when they lie, not when they plot, not when they gather in circles to speak your name like a threat. Your backup doesn't retreat. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't expire. And it doesn't need to be seen. To be obeyed. So here's how this ends. Walk forward. Let them whisper. Let them stare. Let them wonder why the air around you feels heavier, brighter, older. Let them sense what stands inches behind your shoulder. That force they can't track, can't map, can't name. Let them feel the presence that unsettles their lies and shakes their shadows. And when they finally understand who's been protecting you this whole time, they won't come for you again. They'll step back, eyes wide, pulse trembling. Because suddenly, they'll realize the truth. God never left you unguarded. God never let you walk alone. God never let you face wolves without a storm at your back. Your protection isn't human, it isn't visible, it isn't breakable, it is ancient, it is deliberate. It is here, and now they know.